Well, a first impression makes all the difference when interviewing for a job. You don't want to hide who you are, so what's okay when it comes to facial hair, tattoos, or piercings? We have interview coach Lorenzo joining us now to offer some guidance. So it's very trendy and hip now to have facial hair as a guy. Obviously, we want to be who we are, but we also want to be hip and cool too, right? So what are some tips when it comes to taking facial hair into a job interview?
Well, the first tip I would say is definitely call personnel and find out what is acceptable.
Oh, really? So do your work ahead of time.
Because it isn't something that is standard across the board with employment. And I found out so much about hair, facial hair and tattoos.
Really? You'd think
Incredible.
that anymore it would be fine to have facial hair at an employment, but there are still some places that will frown upon it?
Oh, but it isn't.
Really?
Isn't. Yeah. So listen, so I called one manager at a fast food industry, and she told me, she was very open and told me that you can be interviewed with a beard, facial hair, as much as you want, but upon employment, you must be clean shaven.
Really?
And it must remain throughout the employment or you will lose your job.
So that would be where facial hair is accepted then so maybe it's okay to go to the interview, but make sure you're clean shaven. Then, or again, it just depends on what business you're.
Yes, but that seems contradictory to me.
It does kind of a little bit, doesn't it?
That's very confusing. Even in the military, sometimes it's different with each branch what is accepted, but most of them, the beards are not accepted.
Yeah.
Sometimes the mustaches are, and also I have learned that firemen and police and some of the workers who work in auto spraying or chemical spills, because you wear a mask.
Oh yeah, and they can prohibit that seal.
That seal is vital to your survivor.
Yeah. Well, tell you what, so before I got into TV, I don't know if you knew this, but I used to have a beard, so I wanted to get your opinion on my beard. Would you hire
You had a beard?
this man right here? Look at that.
Is that you?
That's me. Look at that massive beard. You don't like that?
No.
No, what about that one? A little more cleaner shaved?
Oh, that's better.
That's better. So you'd hire that guy, but not necessarily the guy who was working out and decided to snap a picture.
That guy I would hire, but the first guy, no.
No. Okay.
But remember too, it depends on the occupation.
That's right. Well, let's talk about tattoos then as well.
Okay.
Is this kind of the same vein as facial hair?
Well, tattoos are such a popular thing with all ages.
Yeah.
So the one thing that I'm going to say is I noticed that the industry is, the employment industry is easing up gradually. Well, some are more quicker than others because if not, the employment pool is going to be so small.
No, you're right. And does it matter, like, I mean, some people I know will cover their tattoos. They'll either have it on their arm or on, a shoulder or someplace that's traditionally covered when they go to work. But, if they go home and throw on a sleeveless shirt, then they can show off their tats that way, right?
Okay, now, some of the employers will tell you that you can have tattoos, but they can't be sexist or offensive, racial in any way.
Yeah.
And a lot of them will say that you can't have those tattoos, but they must be fully covered during work.
All right.
So I would think twice. And did you know that no president since Taft has had facial hair?
I did not know that. Really?
And the
All
other
been clean
thing,
shaven?
yes, and the other thing that I found out in the food industry, that some of the restaurants require you to not only cover your head, but also your beard
as well.
with a beard net.
No.
And I thought that was if you're doing food preparation,
Yes.
not a waiter or waitress.
All right, well, Lorenzo, good tips there. Call ahead on that facial. That's a good tip right there. We appreciate your time as always and hope you're off to a great new year, sir. Good to see you.
Thank you.